What's incredible about this is that it just totally has taken, I think, pop culture and just like taken it to a whole nother level. Obviously, what she's been able to do at live shows is one thing. Now she's able to do it in movie theaters. But the best part, and as Ashley wrote in our screen time issue, is actually when you think about what she's done with albums, it actually sets up just how powerful of a force Taylor Swift actually is. So this is not a news story, but yet it's not nearly over yet, is it, Ashley?
It is not over yet. So should we maybe back up and talk a little bit about what the situation is and
let's
how?
do that.
Okay.
I mean, I need to start at the beginning. I actually don't know how Scooter Braun got hold of the rights to this.
Right. So when Taylor was an up and coming, unknown name, she was on a label group called Big Machine Label Group.
That was never a thing. She was always known.
Right. From the day she was born.
Yeah. How dare you?
Right.
Charming.
Exactly. Eventually, Big Machine sold to Scooter Braun's management company, and so when they did that, Taylor's master recordings went with that deal.
And is this typical, like artists don't have control over
Yes.
these two versions of rights?
Yeah. So the master recordings, which is the literal like recording of a song, that specific song in this case and in many cases is owned by her former record label. What they did not own, because she was a songwriter on all of her songs, is the composition. So that is, the lyrics, the notes, the melody, all of that. So that set her up when Scooter took over her records for he received the rights for the first 6 albums that she put out. They have a very long history of not liking each other. It's definitely not worth getting into now.
She was vocal about it going into it.
She was very vocal about it.
Don't want this to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. She didn't trust him with these recordings. And so when that happened, she decided to kind of go with the nuclear option, which is to re-record all of these albums, and she can do that because she still has the rights to this composition, and so that's where we are.
You know who you don't want to see go nuclear?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a shame they didn't do well.
Scorched earth.
Right. Yes. So she has been on this mission to re-record these albums. She's released a few already, and she's going to be releasing 1989. And you can tell when these are the re-recorded versions because in parentheses they'll say Taylor's version. That is set to come out later this month.
How different? Sorry, Joel, I keep cutting it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When it's Taylor Swift,
You're in charge.
So many
You're in
questions.
charge.
How different is the
I'll
actual...
go scorched earth later.
How different? This is my last question, I promise. How different is the Taylor's version versus I don't want to call it Scooter Braun version,
You
but the
haven't
Big Machine
listened
version?
and compared?
I haven't.
You just did it, 20-year-old in your house.
What you wouldn't want to do is listen to the non-Taylor's version if you're a Swiftie, because
Then you're
you're
supporting-
only listening
Right.
to the Taylor
Okay.
version, right?
That gets into why she's been, I think, so successful. But as far as, did she stick to the original recording style? Yes. Like, she has really tried to basically recreate those original albums. There's been a couple tweaks here and there, a couple lyric changes. She's released new bonus tracks with different artists, so she's added on. But no, broadly speaking, these are meant to replace those original albums.
And she's done really well with them.
Okay,
Yes.
Tim's
done.
been muted
I'm
now.
done.
I know.
Okay.
Microphone off.
Right?
Okay,
She's done
but
really
this
well.
this is where
Yeah.
that gets to the heart of it, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're on, say, Spotify and you're gonna listen to Taylor Swift, guess what album comes out first? Mm-hmm. It's the new ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time she releases the Taylor's version, the old version goes lower and lower and lower, and the guy that she didn't want to have control of anything makes less and less money on it.
Well, so actually, Scooter no longer owns these recordings,
Right.
we should say. Scooter sold them to Shamrock, and now they hold onto these. But regardless, she wants control of her own tracks, and she has been extremely successful. I can tell you guys a little bit of a stat here. So as of July, one of her albums, Fearless, Taylor's version, had earned 1.47 billion on-demand song streams since its release. Okay, in that same amount of time, the
That's real
original, yeah. In the same amount of time, the original albums and the non-Taylor's version received 680.4 million. So obviously still substantial, but much, much smaller than what she's receiving on that new album. And then since its November 2021 release, Red, Taylor's version, had reached 2.86 billion on-demand streams, while the non-Taylor version earned 476.5 million.
That's a big difference.
So people are widely choosing to listen to Taylor's version. And kind of like what Joel was talking about, in some ways this has become almost an ethical conversation. Like, who are you going to support? This artist who has been very public about her disputes over her rights and her ownership. Are you going to support her? Or are you going to support, the investors who have bought this in different ways?
Well, I will say my daughter, who's been a fan for a long time, and she'll be like, that evil Scooter Braun. Like, it's like, what? How do you even know who Scooter Braun is? And it's just interesting how she has really, as you say, it's an ethical decision in terms of what music you choose to play.
Has she written lyrics about Scooter Braun?
There is
Because
speculation.
There's a great history of
Yes.
Taylor going scorched earth on ex-boyfriends. Like Jake Gyllenhaal once had a career and then became a victim of
It's a great song.
of some songs, right? Like so there is this history. Has she gone there?
There is definitely speculation that some of the songs she has written are about Scooter. I don't know that she has ever confirmed or denied.
Yeah, no, I mean, neither with Jake Gyllenhaal either. It's just
I just Googled that because I didn't know.
Oh.
2010 they dated. Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Jake
you, Google.
Gyllenhaal. Not Scooter. Jake.
Oh, are you
I don't know.
serious?
I'm sorry. I'm
By the
just
way,
catching
where
up.
have you been?
Exactly. Come on. No, it is. But we've been kind of not laughing, but I feel like we talk about the financial markets and Taylor Swift comes up. Like, it's just whether the economic impact. We were all out at screen time on the West Coast, and how many conversations
You know what people wanted to talk about?
was Taylor Swift. Like, it's
and Beyonce.
And Beyonce, to be fair. One thing, though, that, in terms of what you did, like, she can do this. Can anybody else do this? And other artists have tried.
Other artists have definitely tried. I'm sure we are all not familiar with Def Leppard's attempt to re-record some of their songs over.
I know. I'm looking at
maybe
Tim.
you are.
Are you?
No, I'm just nodding like I know what I'm talking about.
Check.
Yeah, okay. Def Leppard had tried to do this. Prince has tried to do this. Other artists have tried to do this, but I would say it's interesting because
Not Taylor's version.
Yeah, they're not Taylor's version, and this is also uniquely a era of streaming. So in the past, you might have bought an album once, you had it on vinyl or CD or tape, and that was your copy of the record, and that's what you listened to. But now in streaming, you are constantly making a decision. Which one do I want to listen to? And that totally changes the economics.
You know what else changes the economics? Being able to sell out stadiums for $1,000 a ticket.
Phil, how come you didn't take your family to a Taylor Swift concert?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And you're taking them to a movie
I
instead.
was able to buy 3 tickets for like less than $30 each, $20 each.
Instead of $3,000 for 3 tickets?
So let me do that math for you. And I was like, that'll be Friday night at a movie theater, good enough for the Weber household. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that this speaks to, though, is like, if you're an artist now, you do those live shows, and that is where the money is, right? Mm-hmm. But for Taylor, it's like all of these other things are also where the money is because she's such a force, right?
Right.
The other thing I love about Taylor, which is my last tangent, maybe.
Go ahead, Joel. He's a
My
huge
name is
Swiftie.
Joe Weber, and I love Taylor Swift.
I'm forced to
It's
listen
okay,
to a lot of
it's
music. Okay. But she turns her vulnerabilities into the magic that drives her business.
Right.
And that actually speaks to exactly what we're talking about with this Taylor's version. It's like somebody tried to pull a fast one on her.
It's a story, and it's
Yeah.
a story that all the fans can participate in, and that gets down to even the friendship bracelets that we've seen people wearing to her shows. That came from a lyric that she wrote that fans read into and were like, oh, we should wear friendship bracelets to these shows. It is a participatory experience. It's not just one of fan and then artist and then a fan consumption. It's actively, we're looking for clues from her.